And so not everything that God does when he does a new thing is not always nice. It's not always nice, because sometimes a new thing that God is doing in your life will challenge you more than anything that you've experienced all the days of your life. God's greatest blessings of what he's trying to get to you, I mean, if you're really going to master anything, it's because you're going to have to put some time into it. Have you ever thought about the fact that the more sweat that is lost in practice, the less blood that is lost in battle? So you have to give up something. And it reminds me of what an olive does compared to the olive oil. How does it go from the fruit to the oil, the anointing? How do you get your anointing? It goes through three major processes. The first is shaking, because olives grow on a tree. I've been to olive groves. I've been to the Mount of Olives, where all of these olive trees are still there producing olives. And you got to have a whole lot of olives in order to produce a little jar of olive oil. But it has to go through shaking first. They shake the olives from the tree, and it is the shaking that causes the olives to fall. And do you know that when God gets ready to really bring an anointing in your life, he sends a shaking experience? Have you ever thought about the fact that God's going to shake some things up before you ever get anointed? You get shaken up first. He will rock the boat. He will draw you out of your comfort zone. I'm telling you, he will mess up your, quote, good thing that you had going on. I'm telling you, God, but it's the process of your getting anointed. The anointing oil flowing in your life is that you got to be first shaken. Secondly, you got to be beaten. I know that you don't like the whole idea of being beaten, but you know, you don't have to be beaten in practice. I mean, there are certain things, you know, and back in the day before, you know, children could threaten to call 911 on you. Anybody remember those kind of parents that would grab you by both of your shoulders and shake some sense into you? That they were trying to correct, they were trying to bring a change, they were trying to give you a new thing. And they would grab you by both shoulders and they'd be just shaking the poor little child, you know. They would just shake that child. And listen, when shaking didn't work, they went to beating. Now, you don't know what a beating is, and you from the city, you got to go to the country. Well, they would send you out in the backyard to get some switches and plait them together, and I mean, and they would say, that one is too small. You go there and get a real. We didn't have any ADD and any autism back there. If there was some autism, these parents beat it out of you. They shook it out of you. They beat it out of you. We didn't have all that ADHD, all this kind of foolishness. Ritalin, you let somebody call Big Mama from the school and tell them that your behind has been up there talking in class, and your big old two-ton auntie come up to the school. Oh, they had some stuff for you. I mean, you get locked up for that now, but that was, I mean, before I changed it, it was working. We had a few screwballs that probably tried to discipline while they had some of that juice in them. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But you go through shaking first, beating secondly, and then the third and final stage is pressing. You got to go to a press. That means sometimes you have to be thrown down and put under the foot of somebody. And the very thing that people thought that was crushing your spirit, killing your spirit, was the very thing that actually caused what God put in you, the essence, to begin to effervesce out of you. And that's how the oil was made, because you got pressed. You don't really get any real anointing unless your life comes under pressure. You can't become anything great if you don't want to deal with pressure. I mean, if you ever want to build muscle, you're going to have to deal with pressure. Your life is going to have to come under pressure. If you ever want anything substantial to be done in your life and through your life, you're going to have to get comfortable with pressure. May I just tell you that your level of greatness is determined by the level of discomfort and pain that you're willing to tolerate. And you have a couple of choices. Either you can increase the threshold of the amount of pain that you're willing to tolerate, or you've got to reduce your vision down to the level of pain that you're willing to tolerate. And so God always gives you a choice. You can either reduce your vision down to the level of pain that you're willing to tolerate, or you got to increase your tolerance for pain. And I mean, and if you're going to really ever do something for God, you're going to have to get used to sometimes not being able to sleep well at night. And you know, there are people that ask me, they said, you know what, I got a dream. I can tell anybody who has a dream, does it keep you up at night? That tells me whether you own the dream or not. And really, when you're a real visionary, You don't have a dream. The dream has you. The dream will wake you up in the middle of the night. You wake up 2:30 in the morning, you may have a board meeting. Some ideas will start flowing in your mind as to what you need to do. They're just coming to you at the most inopportune times. You know why? Because it's not, if it was just I had a dream, it'll meet me at 8 o'clock in the morning. But when you are the one, when the dream has you, your dream will wake you up in the middle of a night and say, get up, get up. You don't have to get up. If you don't, you're not going to go back to sleep. You'll be sitting there counting ceiling tiles. You just be sitting there with your eyes open, and it makes the night seem like it's forever. So, you have to get up, because there are certain things that when God begins to deal with you, when he really has anointed you for something, that thing is going to shake you, it's going to beat you, and it's going to press you. Your life comes under pressure. Get used to pressure, because God is doing a new thing. At every new level is a new level of pressure. The higher up you go, the stronger the pressure is. The deeper down you go in the water, the greater the pressure is. You got to deal with pressure if you're going to deal with depth. You carry greater pressure onto you, whether it's down low or whether it's up high. When you change your position, your pressure always changes in your life. So when God gets ready to do a new thing, get ready for a pressure change to happen in your life, and you've got to be willing to deal with the pressure.